Hey guys, JHoyt here. Before this video gets started, I just want to say thank you guys for all the support on the channel recently. All the people leaving likes and nice comments. Thank you all so much. I do read all of those comments and I usually reply to you guys as well. So thank you guys so much for all the support. I do appreciate it. But I've been waiting all week to get into this one, episode number 12 of our franchise mode. What's going on, guys? JHoyt back with you today. Welcome back to episode number 12 of our franchise mode with the Detroit Red Wings. I've been waiting a while, and realistically it hasn't been that long, but all I've wanted to record on NHL is this franchise mode series, right? I want to take this team and get them to the playoffs and get them to our ultimate goal of that Stanley Cup. So we're back at it, episode number 12. We had a very disappointing year, but we're here to make changes. So as we left off in last video, we missed out on the playoffs by a lot, and we have a lot to look forward to in this offseason. So where do we sit? Well, we're in, I don't want to say rebuild mode, but we're going to kind of, keep things simple this offseason, right? Our team has sucked. And, we did make a decent run the one year, but we're here. We need to retool. We need to make sure this team is good going forward. So if you guys remember, we had lots of pending UFAs, and we still have, I think, 6 or 7 in total that we need to either re-sign or, just let go for nothing. Well, when you look at our team, like I said, we have lots of pending UFAs. We had a couple RFAs, but, we already offered some guys contracts. They're going to wait until, we continue on with the simulation to get into those contracts and see if they accept them. So, Marcus Johansson is 84 overall. I think we offer him like 1.5 or 1.75 for 1 year. 84 overall on that third line would definitely help, scoring on that bottom 6 and a lots to look forward to. Toffoli, he wants, I think, like $5 or $6 million, and we might end up letting him go only because I'd like to focus on the guys that we have now, with Bertuzzi, Zadina, Mantha, and Raymond on the wing. So maybe we'll resign him, maybe we won't. We'll have to wait and see what his asking price is when we get to the re-sign stage. Kessel, he was most likely going to be a rental anyway, but we'll see if he wants to re-sign, but probably not. We're going to try to get away from those older players and try to bring in some of our younger players and see if they work out in the NHL. Bergeron will probably end up moving on from him. Seider and Rasmussen, I want both those guys I want to re-sign. And then down here, all of these older guys won't re-sign. Hartman maybe being the only exception to fill in that bottom 6 role. And you continue down, lots of AHL guys not there as well. I think there might be a couple that we offered a contract for next year, and you might see that. Also, we re-signed Luukkonen to a 1-year contract worth $6 million, meaning we have both of our goaltenders for next year as well. So Luukkonen and Georgiev will be our goaltenders going forward. And, although it may not be our best decision, a lot of these veterans will probably, move on from our organization. So as we watch our AHL team play this playoff run out, we'll kind of talk about what we're looking for going into next year. So, like I said, I want to focus on our team going forward, right? So here's the contracts. You probably see, a couple of them pop up, maybe just one. I don't remember how many I actually offered. So 3-0 in the first round. Great to see. But, I want to focus on our guys, right? We have Bertuzzi, Zadina, Larkin and Wright, and then Mantha and Raymond as our top 6, right? All, drafted by us and, signed by us, and homegrown, if you will. But then we also have guys like Rasmussen. We have guys like Veleno. Both those guys we drafted, haven't really done too much. So will this be the year that they, earn that spot in the NHL? We'll have to wait and see. So we end up getting a new contract in this deal anyway, and they actually won the Calder Cup. So let's go re-sign with Detroit here. Make sure it is Detroit. Because there was one time where I was recording a franchise mode video and I had to delete everything because I accidentally signed with the wrong team. So there it is. So the Stanley Cup champions, the Winnipeg Jets. Calder Cup is our own Grand Rapids Griffins. So congrats to the boys down there. Hopefully some of those guys will help us out next year. But as I was saying, we want our team to be us. Right now, we got the draft lottery results, and we get the the 3rd overall pick. So sweet. So we have our first round pick. We have a bunch of seconds, I think a couple thirds, and we have a lot of 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th that we might try to trade up and get in those top 3 rounds. So it's great that we got the 3rd overall pick. Minnesota and Anaheim pick before us. So we'll see who we want to get later on here once we get into the draft. But like I said, we have a lot of good young players that might make the jump permanently this year. Rasmussen, Veleno, 2 of our forwards to look forward to. We then have Seider and Mann. I know Seider played all year last year, but Mann especially, with Hronek gone now, that opens that spot and opens the door for him. So we'll have to see how he plays in the preseason, depending on, his role and, where we decide to put him. So with him, we got Lindholm, Murray, and Hayek, who will be probably our 3 left defensemen. Gardner is expiring, and he's not happy, so he probably won't want to re-sign with us. And like I said, lots of players pending UFA. So we'll have to see, who we want to bring back or, what we want to get in free agency. So let's get right into it, though. So retirements is first on the old agenda. And, we have some players that could retire, like the likes of Kessel and all those other, 35-year-olds that we do have could retire on us. Bergeron, Pavelski, any types of those guys. Let's see here. So let's go to our team and see if anyone retired. So no forwards, kind of surprising. And, I don't think any goaltenders as well. So, like I said, kind of surprising there. Any coaches retiring? Detroit and Grand Rapids, nobody. So let's get into some draft interviews and see who we want to take in this draft. We actually have a pretty tough decision ahead of us. So looks to be there's a franchise centerman that's going to be number 1. So yeah, NHL ready, all A's across the board. I don't feel like he's going to drop down to us. Our next one is a left wing that can also play right. All A's across the board, NHL ready. So don't think he's going to fall to us, but maybe depending on, who else is down here. So Declan Barron, probably butchered that. So A's across the board with the exception of physical. So size and skill, size and scoring. Size and skill, size and strength, and goal scoring on him. Similar style to Mark Stone, one of my personal favorite players. NHL ready, 6'4". He'd be 18 by the time the draft is upon us, which could be a very good pick. We have Nicholas McTaggart. I'm going to go with that. But what's he saying? So similar. A's across the board with the exception of physical, puck protection, pro release, and elite speed. Also NHL ready, similar style to Phil Kessel, who we just had on our squad. And who else do we got here? So another right wing, this one out of the SHL. Right wing, shoots left-handed though, all A's across the board, one-on-one skill, offensive creativity, and playmaking. So it looks like to be a playmaking right wing. Weaknesses are shot utilization. So interesting. Similar style to Sean Monahan, that doesn't really make sense because Monahan's more of like a two-way centerman that can play both sides of the puck. So not really quite sure how that style works, but NHL ready as well. So another one to look out for. Then we have a pair of defensemen. So we have Darius James out of the QMJHL, A's across the board, with the exception of defense. So shutdown ability, heavy slap shot, great puck mover. Weaknesses is teammate utilization, which kind of contradicts the great puck mover, but we'll have to see. So similar style Hedman, NHL ready. So again, great pick there. Then we have Emilio Jeffrey. Okay, so he's definitely not NHL ready, but still could be something for us down the road. But again, we want to win now. So a couple of defensemen that need a couple of years. So I don't think we're going to go any farther than that. And unfortunately, it looks to be either a winger or a left-handed defenseman for us going forward. So let's go interview a couple of these guys and see which one is going to be the best fit for our team. So after interviewing a couple of these guys, we ended up interviewing Barron, McTaggart, and James. So, we had a left wing, a right wing, and a defenseman. So we have a very tough decision going forward because, we don't necessarily need wingers, because we already have Bertuzzi, Zadina, Mantha, and Raymond. But then we don't really need any defensemen because we already have Lindholm, Murray, and Hayek as our left defensemen. But also, if you look at our two young right-handed defensemen, setting our team up for the future with 3 good young defensemen could be great. Right now, we'd have to make probably a couple of moves to make that all worth it. But in the meantime, we'll just kind of stick with our roster that we got now. So, that's going to be our 3 options, I guess. We have James, McTaggart, or Barron. Now, obviously, Barron is projected to go 3 to us, and has everything of an all-around player that looks to be anything for us. McTaggart has some great speed that we could definitely use, and obviously James looks to be in the next great, Rasmus Dahlin or somebody out there. So a very hard decision going forward, but we got to get into the draft though, because we got to get something rolling here. So let's go through all of our pending UFAs on the trade block, throw some of those draft picks on there as well, and let's get in and make that difficult decision. Here we are in the draft. We put all of those pending UFAs up on the trade block. So we'll have to wait and see, but let's get forward here. So yeah, no surprise there. Franchise centerman, who will go number 2. Hannon, I think that's the guy that was projected number 2. And now is the time for our tough decision. So, like I said earlier, I think either Barron, McTaggart, or James were our top 3. And realistically, we need all of them. But I don't know which one to go to, honestly. Here's what we're gonna do. I think after some tough decisions that we're gonna go with Declan Barron. So we're going to have the big right wing, Russian right wing prospect on our squad. But also, I'm going to try to go acquire I think it'd be the 5th or 6th overall pick. Now, that's not going to be easy by any means, but we're going to go see if we can acquire it, because if we can, I think we could possibly get Darius James as well. So we're going to go see who owns that pick and try to acquire it to get another big prospect. I did everything I could. That's the most trade value thing that I could possibly go for. And let's just see it happen. What is he? 77 overall. So after looking back, we get a 76 overall who, that's not really NHL ready to me. I mean, it's going to be right on the verge, and, probably once the preseason hits, he might be a little bit better. But McTaggart was the same thing. And then the one player we probably should have picked is Vicklin. But, he was kind of, a little questionable. And, one of McTaggart or Barron looked to be a little bit better. But, not the case. New York Islanders make out great in this draft. And, we'll have to wait and see. So let's play out the next couple of rounds and see if anything interesting happens. We end up trading away Pavelski and one of our AHL guys, both for 7th round picks. So we got the 3rd overall pick here in the 2nd round. Is any of these players gonna be much of anything? So 3 years till you're good, and yeah, not to be too excited about any of these players. So if we don't find anything good, you won't see it. So if we don't find anything, I guess we'll see you guys in the re-sign stage. So our first order of business following our draft is to get rid of all of our freaking NHL coaches, because they sucked this year. And yeah, let's just make sure we're getting rid of the right ones here. Make sure they're nice and in order. Get rid of all of them. because we need a fresh start. Goaltender coach, bye. So here's the good thing. Our AHL team did win the Calder Cup, and I feel like that's, grounds to re-sign our guy and, keep those guys together, at least temporarily. So we'll re-sign this guy, and then you can't really see it too well, but we'll re-sign both these guys to their contracts, and we'll find all brand new coaches for our NHL squad. So usually I wouldn't keep an NHL coach that's a D overall, but our goaltenders played really well. So all these guys, let's keep them. Let's cherish them, and hopefully they can tell these new NHL coaches what the heck they're doing, because we need ones that know how to win. So as we like to do it, let's start with the centermen. So we have Larkin, Wright, Granlund, and we are two young guys that Rasmussen we have to re-sign. So Bergeron, let's just check here. So $2 million. I mean, we have a couple of guys we want to try out in that spot. So for now, we'll release him. Yarncroc is re-signed through next year, so I guess he will be an option. Veleno signed through next year as well. So Rasmussen, what are you saying? 1.7 for 1 year. How about 1.5 for 1 year? So that's all the NHL guys. We'll just focus on them for now. Left wings, though, who do we got? So Bertuzzi, Zadina, no question about those two. They're both here next year. Johansson, we re-signed 1.7. That was close. And AHL guys will take care of in a second. So this is where we have to make kind of a decision. So, Kessel and Toffoli. So Kessel wants 2 years at just under $6 million. Toffoli, what do you want? Ooh. You want 3 years at 4.7. Ooh, that's interesting. Now, do we keep... Now, again, we don't know our coaches for next year, but is he going to fit into our scheme and everything? I mean, he wants just barely an upgrade as far as their contract goes. So I say we get rid of Kessel, right? I feel like that's too much for what we want. I feel like Toffoli... we could re-sign maybe what do you want for 2 years? 2 years at 4.5? That's not a bad offer. I mean, I didn't really plan on re-signing him, but if that's a contract he wants, why not give that a shot? Plus, until Raymond wants a big deal, then we'll have to save some money for him. Hartman, what do you want? 2 years at 1.5? How about 1 year at 1.25? And then we'll sign Barron as well. Hopefully he gets to be better overall wise. So good overall stats. I mean, physical, but not really a fighter. Good skating. I mean, puck skills are there. Shooting's there. Defensive wise, he's there just under what we want. Almost all 80s though across the board. So. You know what? We'll take with what we got. We'll offer him a contract, and he'll have a shot in the preseason to make the NHL squad. As far as our defense goes, now Gardner probably won't want to re-sign with us. Yeah, you want a huge contract, so unfortunately we're gonna have to get rid of you. Sider though, what if we want a little? I want to get him for 3 years, but also if I can get him to a 1 year at 2.5, what did he make last year? What did you make? Oh, you're still coming off your entry level. So we'll give you, how about a 1 year at 2.5? I kind of like that. I know what, 2 years at 2.5. We'll see how that goes about his fancy. And see what happens there. So, like I said earlier, Hayek is also under contract for next year. Plus, we have a good handful of defensemen that could make the jump this year that will get a shot once the preseason starts. Goaltenders, though, we have our 2 for next year. We have 1 in the AHL as well. And then, no offense to Larson here, but Bednar was performing just that much better. And as far as other than our draft picks, we got a couple of guys that were gems, so I know they probably have some decent trade value, but we probably won't see them for a while. So as far as numbers go, I mean, we'll have to wait and see who re-signs, but for right now, it looks to be like a lot of young players will get a look at the NHL. So here we are in our free agency, I guess, signing. So we re-signed everyone that we wanted with the exception of Tyler Toffoli. He just did not want to re-sign because we didn't finish very, good in the standings. So he's going to be a free agent. We can, go try to re-sign him if we wanted to. But you know what? He actually is at the bottom of the where you can't see it. He wants 4 years at 4.9, so basically $5 million. We offered him up to I think $5 or $6 million, and he just did not want to re-sign. So we have I think 1 or 2 open spots in the NHL going into the preseason, but we also have some guys that are looking to make the jump as well. So I don't want to go crazy. I don't want to have to force any kind of signings, but also we need to fill up some salary because we have $34 million in cap space. So as far as these big names at the top, I really don't feel like we need any of them. I mean, we have what open? We basically have a 4th line spot open, like realistically. I mean, we have Bertuzzi, Zadina, Johansson, Larkin, Wright, Rasmussen, Mantha, Raymond, and Yarcroc with Veleno and Granlund. So we got lots. So what are we going to look for? I guess we'll just kind of go down and see if there's any good deals. So centers, until we get down here, there's not really. I mean, if we wanted to go after like a Kempe or any of these guys for like $2.5 million, that wouldn't be a bad deal. But once again, I don't really want to force it. A really good deal on Henrique, 1 year at like $800,000 would be great. But we already have some guys that could easily fill in that spot. We did offer, this reminds me that we did offer some of our young guys contracts. We'll move me up here to the top middle so you guys can kind of see what's going on. Rasmussen and Cider I offered contracts to, as well as Mann and a couple other guys that are pending RFAs and the ones that need a contract for next year. So you'll see those guys as well. So what else do we need going forward? I mean, Batherson's been doing really well in real life. Will he do well in the game? It didn't really look like he had a chance to play much last year. 13, 20 points. I mean, that was in the AHL as well. So, he could be worth, throwing an offer at maybe 1 year or 1 or 2 years, 1.25, 1.5, whatever he may want. But again, I don't want to force that if I don't have to. Let's go over to left wings, though. So we don't really need any of the big name stars. I mean, Bailey could be a pretty decent bargain, but again, we don't really need him. I mean, we got like Lindblom. That's a decent deal, but again, don't really need it. That Zucker deal, again, could be great, but again, we don't need it. I mean, a couple of these guys probably could fit in pretty well, but we have some guys that could fill that role. Jump over to right wings, though. I mean, we could get like an Eberle, but he wants, a little bit higher than what I would want to offer him. Dadonov, kind of the same thing. We could get like a Tommy Wilson or Busnevich. Probably butchered that one. Nyquist, that's not a bad deal for 1.8 for 1 year. Silfverberg, we were actually super close to trading for him at the deadline, but instead we got Phil Kessel. Again, none of these guys are really, if anyone I'd go after, it'd be Nyquist, but I'd like to get somebody a little bit maybe more two-way and, someone a little bit more focused on defense. Because, he's got the offense, he's got the goal scoring, but do we have enough for the defensive side of the puck? So we'll keep him in mind. But you know what? We'll pass over him for now. On the back end, though, so we got lots of 83s, 84s. You'll see Gardner there, $6 million, but obviously we did not want to re-sign him. No really bargains up at the top here. Cider, we did not offer him that. We offered him 2 years at $2.5 million. What else is there, though? Anybody at the bottom here? Because we do have some young guys looking to make the jump. Mark Giordano, 40 years old, could get him for a pretty decent bargain if we wanted to. And go down, there's a couple of guys that don't really want much money. So you know what, we need to fill up the AHL team, but we might as well look for those good deals some more. So it's just going to be depth players. It doesn't really look like there's many superstars that we're going to go after, and if anything, we might look for a trade. So after a good deal of looking at our team and looking at what we needed, this is our, I guess not final, but our approach list, right? These are all the offers that we have sent. Now, it is headlined by a couple of players that I didn't really think I was going to go after, and that's going to be Jason Zucker, who we offered, I think, 2 years at $3.5 million. He might want a little bit more than that. So we'll see where that one goes. And then apparently I looked right over Adrian Kempe, 84 overall, only wants just under $2.5 million. So we offered him a 2-year contract. Seider, we offered a $2.5 million contract for 2 years. Rasmussen, I think we offered like a 1.5 at 1 year. And the rest of them are all AHL contracts. So if Zucker and Kempe do sign, you know, that's going to be good for us. They can both fit on the penalty kill. Plus, it's kind of some depth, some guys we can move around the lineup and, you know, balance out some of the scoring. And hopefully it helps us, you know, with everything else that we're looking to do. So we also offered a lot of coaches. And I don't think any scouts were up this year. But you'll see lots of notifications upcoming here. Most of them probably going to be coaches. And obviously a lot of teams, a lot of players as well. So that's going to be our new head coach there, one of our assistants as well, goalie coach. Goalie coaches are very hard to find, by the way. So that one was like a C or something overall. So Lindbaum, that is a goalie. Not really worried about that. What else is there? So Kempe signed. That's big. Rasmussen didn't. Okay. Seider, whatever. We'll deal with them later. Where is the one I am looking for? It is Zucker. Man, okay, that's a re-sign. Looking for, okay, that's a re-sign as well. There it is. So Jason Zucker does sign, so does Adrian Kempe. 2 big signings, although they don't really look like it. After that is all said and done, we have pretty much our roster going forward. We just need Seider and Rasmussen to sign. So we're going to work on signing both of those guys as we approach the preseason. After all the signings, the re-signings, free agency, and everything else, it has led to this moment. And you can see our opening preseason roster here. And oh boy, do we have a lot of players. And this is going to be to start. Like I said, could totally change in the preseason, which we'll do off camera. And of course, you'll see the opening roster once we get into next video. But to start us off, we're going to have Bertuzzi, Larkin, and Mantha as our top line. Second line of Zadina, Wright, and Raymond. Third line of Rasmussen, Veleno, and Yarncroc. Fourth line of Johansson, Kempe, and Zucker. So I think we have one other player. I think Granlund is the only other one. So one of those 7 players, or I should say, yeah, one of those 7 players will be sent down to the AHL. We'll have to wait and see who that is. But as far as our top 6 go, it looks to be pretty straightforward of who's going to be there. Obviously depending on what line and, who wins that battle in the preseason. So over on the back end, don't get all scared. We didn't get rid of any players. We have a couple of younger AHL defensemen that we drafted that are going to look to make the jump this year. So we have Lindholm and Seider to start, Murray and Mann, and then Wollander and Mathieu. No idea. But 2 young guys that are looking to make a good impression. And we have as our goaltenders, obviously Lukkinen and Georgiev. And like I said, Granlund, Hayek, and Timmins, all there for right now, will be in the preseason battle going forward. So we got lots to look forward to, lots of new players on the squad. Can this be the year that Rasmussen, Veleno, Mann can all stay up in the NHL? Can they prove themselves? And overall, can we be a better team and make it to the Stanley Cup playoffs? With all that being said, guys, that's going to be it for today's episode. Episode number, 12? We are on. Has been such a crazy journey to get here. A similar but different looking team, since we first started. Lots of faces in and out. and we need to find something that works. So hopefully this team, I say it every single year, hopefully this team can get us back to where we want to be and back into the playoffs, because as we saw, not last year, but the year before that, when we made it to the second round, you know, we can do it, right? We can beat top teams, and we can get to the playoffs, and once we get there, anything can happen. But like I said, if you did enjoy, make sure you hit that like button down below. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below in that comment section. And if you haven't yet, or if you're brand new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that bell, turn those notifications so you never miss an upload. You can always change your mind later. But with all that being said, guys, we'll see you in episode 13.